If you can implement the 5 things I'll be talking about in this video, you will increase your chances of beating cancer or staying in remission. Something really important that most oncologists or dietitians aren't telling cancer patients is that your gut health dictates your body's ability to fight off cancer cells. Now I know what you might be thinking, this makes sense for stomach or bowel cancers, but what does it have to do with getting, say, breast or skin cancer? In this video, I'm going to explain why this is true, and then give you 5 important actionable steps that you can start today to improve your gut health and increase your chances of beating cancer. First of all, we have trillions of microorganisms living in our gut. We're going to call these bacteria, because that's what they are for the most part, and they play a crucial role in regulating numerous processes in the body, like your metabolism, digestion, and immune system, for example. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to get into the boring nitty-gritty science that happens in your gut at a microscopic level, but what I'd really like you to know is that your gut bacteria significantly influences not only your body's ability to kill off precancerous or cancerous cells, but studies have shown that it can also contribute to the development and progression of cancer. Crazy, right? You see, we have both good and bad bacteria in our gut, and if the bad bacteria outnumbers the good, it creates inflammation in the body. And chronic inflammation in our gut can spread like wildfire through our digestive system, damaging our gut lining and increasing the risk of persistent gut issues like Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, which will in turn increase your risk of getting inflammation-driven cancers. Also, as I just mentioned, our gut health directly impacts our immune system, and we need a strong immune system to combat inflammation. Some of the good bacteria in your gut are even involved in the breakdown of carcinogens, like alcohol or processed meats, things we know are very carcinogenic, and they help to eliminate them from your body before they have the chance to cause inflammation or damage your cellular DNA, which we know can lead to cancer. If you've had breast cancer, you're likely aware that estrogen fuels most types of breast cancers, like around 70% of them, because estrogen stimulates breast tissue cells and causes them to divide more frequently. So long story short, the more estrogen you have in your body, the greater your risk of getting breast cancer. And studies have shown that some of the good bacteria in your gut can actually break down or metabolize estrogen so that it's expelled from your body. Isn't that amazing? Now, as promised, I'm going to give you 5 things that you can start doing today to improve your gut health, and don't worry, they don't all involve changing your diet. Actually, tip number 5 will likely shock you because it's not something anyone's talking about. And these 5 things are especially important for people that have had chemotherapy or had to take other medications like antibiotics while they were going through treatment, because chemo and medications have a very negative effect on your gut microbiome. So tip number 1 to improve gut health, believe it or not, is exercise. There's a lot going on when we exercise. It allows for more oxygen to reach our brain and bloodstream, our core body temperature heats up, and there's a redistribution of blood flow. These all help to increase the good bacteria in your gut, and in turn, they'll produce molecules our bodies use to heal itself or fight off cancer and other illnesses. Isn't that just amazing? For now, most research on the best type of exercise to improve gut health has been focused mostly on aerobic exercise and less so on resistance training like weightlifting, but that doesn't mean that pumping iron won't help your gut as well, because it still gets your heart rate up and your blood pumping. So regardless of your physical capabilities, I want you to simply try to add more movement to your day, even if all you can manage is increasing your daily walk by an extra 10 minutes, or lifting light weights while you're watching TV. The best thing to do is to create a plan for how you're going to incorporate more movement into your life. And why not start today? Any form of movement is better than none. Tip number 2, avoid eating processed foods as much as possible and replace them with whole foods. What we eat largely determines the health of our gut. So it makes sense that basically unhealthy foods breed bad bacteria and healthy foods breed good bacteria. So whole foods like fruit, veggies, and whole grains contain fiber, which is one of the main things you want to focus on eating more of for your gut health. You know what's really shocking? Apparently 98% of Americans don't eat enough fiber. And the main reason for this is because we eat way too much refined carbohydrates like white flour. Foods made from white flour like white bread, crackers, cookies, or white pasta have been stripped of all their fiber and nutrients. This means that your body digests them super quickly, which will spike your insulin levels and result in an inflammatory response that makes you feel sluggish and lethargic. Have you ever felt like you were in a food coma after eating a huge stack of pancakes? I know you know what I'm talking about. But conversely, when we eat fruit or veggies or whole grains and other fiber-rich foods, we're essentially providing a feast for the good bacteria in our gut so they can replicate and outnumber the bad bacteria. A high-fiber diet will also reduce your levels of bad cholesterol, aka LDL, regulate blood sugar levels, and help you to maintain a healthy weight. Some of the best produce you can eat for fiber are berries, celery, apples, bananas, broccoli, or cauliflower. Other foods that will provide you with healthy fiber for your gut are oats, quinoa, whole grain or wild rice, beans, lentils, nuts like almonds or coconut, and seeds like pumpkin, chia, or flax seeds. Basically, if you can fill your plate with as many of these foods as possible, you're laughing. I know it can be hard to avoid processed foods, especially when you're short on time or energy, but you can just start by buying whole wheat bread instead of white bread, whole grain pasta instead of white pasta, and limit or slowly cut out the cookies, cakes, desserts, or anything with refined sugar from your diet to maintain a healthy gut. Tip number 3, eat fermented foods or take a probiotic supplement. A whopping 7 out of 10 Americans report being bloated every single day. This is crazy. Like, bloating's not just a normal part of life. It's a sign that you have something going on and maybe your gut's not healthy. Now, I don't normally recommend taking supplements over getting the nutrients you need from food, but there aren't a ton of food or drinks that contain probiotics, so if you don't consume them regularly, I would highly recommend taking a daily probiotic supplement. Foods that do contain probiotics are yogurt, sauerkraut, kimchi, or kombucha, for example. Although probiotic supplements are generally safe for cancer patients to take, please run it by your doctor before taking any new vitamin or supplement. The problem is that not all probiotic supplements are worth the money you pay for them. So the most important thing to consider when you're choosing one is the number of CFUs, or colony-forming units. You'll want to look for a probiotic supplement with at least 50 billion CFUs. Remember that I said our gut contains trillions of microorganisms? Researchers say that if you take a probiotic supplement with less than 50 billion CFUs, the probiotic bacteria may only reach your small intestine, but won't make it all the way down to your gut, aka your large intestine, which is where you need it the most, because this is where the nutrients from the food you eat are absorbed. I've provided you with a link in the description below this video for a probiotic supplement that I personally take every single day and recommend to all of my cancer patients. You can even find protein powders that have added probiotics. I like the brand Vega because it contains clean ingredients, no added sugar, and added probiotics. I'll link that down below for you as well. Tip number 4, do something every day to help you relax. We all have stress in our lives, and stress is not only bad for our mental well-being, but for our gut health as well. Chronic stress wreaks havoc on your digestive system, creates inflammation, and hormonal and autonomic changes that disrupt the composition of your gut microbiome. So don't forget to take a breather and do the things that make you happy, especially when you feel like your stress or anxiety levels are high. Spend time with the people who make you feel good, or do something you're most passionate about. And as you have it, the best form of stress relief also ties into tip number 1, exercise. There's a reason our bodies release feel-good endorphins when we exercise, and that's because biologically we were meant to move our bodies. Also, having a plan to move more or exercise more and follow through with it gives you something to be proud of, especially once you reach your goals and start to see results. So if you happen to have a pen and paper nearby, why not make a plan for how and when you're going to get more movement into your life every single day? Write down what you can start doing today, tomorrow, or over the next month. Last but not least, tip number 5, and this is what may shock you, but it's having proper oral hygiene. When bad bacteria become overgrown inside your mouth, they produce harmful byproducts like hydrogen sulfide that damage the lining of your gut. These bacteria and their byproducts can then enter your bloodstream, increase inflammation, and contribute to the progression of illnesses like cancer. For example, with gum disease like gingivitis, which causes inflammation and infection in your gums, the bad bacteria from your gums can travel down to your gut and affect the balance of good versus bad bacteria there. So this is yet another reason why it's so important to brush your teeth at least twice a day and floss at least once a day to help remove the plaque and food particles that can cause gum disease. If you've been through chemo recently and weren't able to visit the dentist, be sure to go as soon as your oncologist gives you the okay, because regular dental checkups and cleanings are essential to remove the tartar buildup that can't be removed with regular brushing or flossing. While the connection between gut health and cancer is still being researched, understanding the potential impact of our gut microbiome on our body's ability to fight off cancer cells opens up some really exciting new possibilities for cancer prevention and treatment. But here's the thing. Unfortunately, the 5 things I just mentioned aren't things you can just do once or twice and be like, okay, I did them. That must count for something. Now I can go back to eating sugar or junk food again. If only it were that easy. But we need to be consistent in all these 5 areas for them to work effectively. It's not just enough to learn this stuff. It's your actions and consistency that count. And that's easier said than done, I know. It's actually a skill to be able to apply what you've learned to your own life and stick with it long term. And the easiest way to do this is to keep in mind what your end goal is, and that is to increase your chances of beating cancer or staying in remission. These 5 tips are things that I personally live by for cancer prevention, and they're what I've been teaching my patients and clients for the past 15 years. I'll add a link in the description below for my signature program called the 60-Day Reset that has helped thousands of cancer survivors make the healthy diet and lifestyle changes necessary to beat cancer for good. So let's keep nurturing our gut, supporting our well-being, and empowering ourselves with knowledge. Bye for now.